welcome back. I'm Christine E. Schultz, your favorite Elvish author, and this is another episode of Chapter Reactions, where I read the first chapter or two from a book to help you discover something new that you might want to read, and also to help me discover new things that I want to read as well with y'all. And today's book of choice is called The Bells by Dhonielle Clayton. And so I decided to do this book because we kind of have a theme this week. We kind of have a Beauty and the Beast sort of theme going on. We've done Curses, which seems to be a gender-bent retelling of Beauty and the Beast. And then we have Among the Beasts and Briars, which doesn't really seem to be a fairy tale retelling, but because it's got the whole beast theme, we're just kind of rolling with it. And so since we have the beast theme, now we're going to do The Bells, which I don't think has anything to do, again, with Beauty and the Beast, but because of the name, I'm like, it works with the theme. We're just going to keep going with it. So I've had this book for a while, and have been intrigued by this book for a while. One thing that first drew me to this book is it does seem to be a sort of, I'm not sure if it's more fantasy. It does seem to be set in its own world, maybe a kind of dystopian sort of world. And at any rate, I really was drawn to the fact that it had a person of color on the cover, and I believe as the main character, or if not, at least one of the main characters, but I believe that, we're going to find out, but I believe it's the main character. And, one thing that's important to me is seeing more diversity in fantasy fiction, or just in fiction in general, but especially fantasy since that's what I write. So that really drew me to it. Plus, it's just an absolute gorgeous cover, period. I love the girl, I love the font, I love the colors. Love it, love it, love it. So yeah, we're going to dive in, strap on your elf ears, and get ready to listen and see what The Bells is all about. The blurb for The Bells says, Camellia Beauregard is a belle. In the opulent world of Orleans, bells are revered, for they control beauty, and beauty is a commodity coveted above all else. In Orleans, the people are born gray, they are born damned, and only with the help of a belle and her talents can they transform and be made beautiful. But it's not enough for Camellia to be just a belle. She wants to be the favorite. The belle chosen by the Queen of Orleans to live in the royal palace, to tend the royal family and their court, to be recognized as the most talented belle in the land. But once Camellia and her belle sisters arrive at court, it becomes clear that being the favorite is not everything she always dreamed it would be. Behind the gilded palace walls live dark secrets, and Camellia soon learns that the very essence of her existence is a lie, that her powers are far greater and could be more dangerous than she ever imagined. And when the queen asks Camellia to risk her own life and help the ailing princess by using belle powers in unintended ways, Camellia faces an impossible decision. With the future of Orleans and its people at stake, Camellia must decide, save herself and her sisters in the way of the bells, or resuscitate the princess, risk her own life, and change the ways of her world forever. So yeah, it is its own kind of fantasy world, sort of a little bit, to me, in a way of a dystopian vibe, just in the sense that you have this world and the whole setup is revolved around something, in this case, like, oh, beauty is everything, beauty is what you need to be. Maybe dystopian is the wrong word for it, but, definitely its own world with its own set of rules, revolving around that one thing that everyone's out to get. That just makes me kind of think of dystopian a little bit. But yeah, she's got her whole world here. I'm going to remove the cover a little bit just so that you can see the map. It's all in pink, which I really quite enjoy. I love this map a lot. It's very detailed. And yeah, so we are going to jump right into chapter 1. There's a proverb at the beginning that says, beauty is a dying flower. And apparently this is an Orlesian proverb. Oh, that's right, because this world is also kind of an alternate world based off of New Orleans, I believe, hence the name, which I also found interesting. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. There is this little section at the beginning from the history of Orleans that we're going to read, and then we'll jump into chapter 1. So the excerpt from the history of Orleans says, the god of the sky fell in love with the goddess of beauty after the world began. Sky showered beauty with gifts of his loveliest objects, the sun, the moon, the clouds, the stars. She accepted his offer to be his wife, and together they had the children of Orleans. But Beauty loved her new children so much she spent all her time with them. After she refused to return home, Sky sent rain and lightning and wind to drown the first humans. When Beauty protected the people from harm, Sky cursed them with skin the color of a sunless sky, eyes the shade of blood, hair of the texture of rotten straw, and a deep sadness that quickly turned to madness. In return, beauty sent the bells to be roses growing out of the dark and ravished soil, destined to bring beauty back to the damned world, as the sun brings light. Okay, so that's the history of the world right there. I like that. So again, it is, I love how the authors created their own world with their own little backstory, and just how the world was created by the god of the sky and the goddess of beauty, and their relationship, and how, her love for her children and just being kind of consumed with spending all of her time with them created this jealousy in the god of the sky. And that is why now the majority of the humans in this world are gray and cursed and unhappy and just ugly, and beauty is the thing that is coveted above all else. Chapter 1. We all turn 16 today, and for any normal girl that would mean raspberry and lemon macaroons and tiny pastel blimps and pink champagne and card games, maybe even a teacup elephant. But not for us. Today is our debut. There are only 6 of us this year. My fingertips leave fogged teardrops on the paper-thin glass walls. The carriage is beautiful and clear and fashioned into a ball. I am a delicate doll poised inside a snow globe. An adoring audience surrounds my carriage, eager to see what I look like and what I can do. A net made of my signature pink flowers stretches along the glass curves in order to tell everyone my name, Camellia, and to hide me until I am revealed to the royal court. I am the last in line. My heart races with excited nervousness as we stake through the crowds in the royal square for the Beauté Carnival. The festival happens once every 3 years. I peer through the tiny spaces between the petals with a pair of eye scopes and try to soak in my first glances of the world, wanting to fold up each bit and tuck it into the cerise layers of my dress. It's a wonderland of palace buildings with golden turrets and glittering arches, fountains full of crimson and ivory fish, topiary mazes of clipped trees, shrubs, and bushes in every possible geometric shape. Imperial canals circle the square, holding jeweled boats bright as gemstones and shaped like smiling moons on midnight blue water. They spill over with passengers eager to watch us. The royal hourglass that measures the length of day and night churns with sand the color of white diamonds. The sky and its clouds are made of melting cherries and flamingo oranges and burnt grapefruit as the sun sinks into the sea. The dying sunlight flashes my own reflection on the glass. My powdered skin makes me look like an overly frosted piece of caramel cake. I've never seen anything like it before. This is the first time I've visited the Imperial Island, the first time I've ever left home. The Orleans archipelago is a string of islands stretching like a rose with a crooked stem out into the warm sea. Most of them are connected by golden bridges or can be reached by lavish river coaches. We came from the very top, the bloom, and we've made a long journey to the heart of the stem to display our talents. A breeze pushes its way through the tiny breathing holes in the glass carriage, carrying with it the scent of the sky, salty rain, spiced clouds, and a hint of sweetness from the stars. It all feels like a dream that's held on and lingered past the dawn. I never want it to end. I never want to return home. 1 minute here is richer than 1,000 moments there. The end of the warm months bring change, Mama always said, and my life is bound to transform tonight. The horses tug us forward, their hooves clip-clopping against the cobblestone square. Vendors are selling sweets in our honor. Small mountains of shaved ice topped with strawberries the color of our lips, intricate little tea cakes shaped like our signature flowers, sweet puffs molded like our bell buns, colorful strings of sugar pinwheeled around sticks to mirror our traditional waist sashes and dresses. A hand thumps my carriage and I catch a sliver of a face. The square is overflowing with bodies. There are so many of them. Hundreds, thousands, maybe millions. Imperial guards push the crowd back to give our procession space to pass. All the people seem beautiful, with skin in various colors, from fresh cream to a drizzle of honey to a square of chocolate. Their hair is in blonde waves, or brunette curls, or raven coils. Body shapes are petite, round, or somewhere in between. They've all paid to look this way. The men wear jackets and top hats and cravats in a prism of colors. Some have hair growing on their faces in neat patterns. They stand beside women adorned with jewels and draped in luxurious pastel-colored dresses made full with crinoline and tulle. Intricate hats cover the ladies' hair. Some clutch dainty parasols and oil paper umbrellas, or cool themselves with patterned fans. From the blimps above, I bet they resemble candies in a box. I recognize the more popular looks from the stacks of gossip tattlers left in the mail chest a day too long, or from the weekly beauty scopes Dubarry's daughter, Elizabeth, sometimes dropped between the velvet cushions of the parlor room couch. The Orleans press says that strawberry blonde hair and jade eyes are the new windy season trend. The Orleans press says that strawberry blonde hair and jade eyes are the new windy season trend. All the newspaper headlines read, "Awaken love. Look irresistible with strawberry and jade. Fill your toilet box with Belle-approved rhubarb hair powder. A complexion of lilies and bell rose lips, this season's colors of beauty. The newsies say that's what everyone will want in the coming months. Coins jingle. Hands wave velvet pouches in the air. The spinitria inside creates a tinkling melody. How much does each pouch hold? How many treatments can they afford to purchase? How much are they willing to pay? I adjust the iScope lens, zooming in on excited onlookers, noticing how some of their skin tones have faded, like paintings that have faced the sun too long, how their hair is graying at the roots, and age lines are creasing several brows. It's a reminder of why I'm here. I am a belle. I control beauty. And that is the end of chapter 1 of The Belles. I'm already liking all of the description. There's a lot of rich description, a lot of colors. You can really get a feel for just the culture of these people. It kind of reminds me of in the Hunger Games, the district. Gosh, it's been so long I've even forgotten how many districts there are. You guys can tell me. You guys can correct me down in the comments if you want to. But the district where, the very rich district where everyone's very fancy and flamboyant and just the colors are just so over the top. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. And how the people seem to pay for their looks, even down to their weight and their size and their shape, to look what they feel like is beautiful. And so, yeah, I think that there's already some great world building going on. In order to find out more and what the whole ceremony to do with the Belles is all about, you're going to have to read the book, and I'm going to have to read the book too. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this reading, what do you think of this video, and what your thoughts are on this book if you've read it. Please give a warning if you're going to include spoilers. And give us some suggestions of any fairy tale or Beauty and the Beast type of books, or even just any books like this where there's just like a really solid, unique world created. And maybe we'll check some of them out in a future video. On that note, happy reading, may you be inspired, and I will see you in my next video.